Madrasi. Let's review Nani's Hit 3. Welcome, guys. Welcome, everybody, to Blockbuster. I'm your host, AJ, and we're here to review Hit 3. And just FYI, smoking cigarettes or cigars is injurious to health. That was just a prop. I don't smoke, so do the same thing. So, buddies, the main reason on why I wanted to watch this movie, gotta be honest with you, I haven't watched the first two parts, but I am a huge Nani fan. Just love what he brings to the table in all his movies. Plus, based on the trailer, it looked really badass. And his character and his presence is the main reason on why I wanted to go and watch it. And I believe that holds true because, to me, my personal opinion, Nani just steals the show from the beginning till the end. His character is the main reason on why this movie works. Not so much to do with the storyline. Although the first half is the most interesting, gripping. You just love what's going on because you're trying to know what the story is and you're trying to weave out what's going on. And plus, all of this is happening with Nani's introduction as the character. You're learning about him. That's the best piece of this movie because once it goes to the second half, there is a drawback in terms of the antagonist and that storyline. So Hit 3 is directed by Sailesh Kolanu and it's a 2 hours and 30-minute movie. And just a fair warning, as I mentioned, the first half, you're going to love it. But in the second half, you might start to feel, okay, this is getting too long. The stretchiness of this movie is showcased there. So be prepared for that. Nani is the soul of this movie because of the character that he is. He is this complete aggressive, badass, rude. When I say rude, I'm not talking about, oh, he's just bad towards bad people and the villain and stuff. No, he's just that way with everybody, whether it's his father, whether it's his colleagues and the subordinates that he works with. He's just a dick. Right? The whole hey thing that I did, he literally does that to everybody, regardless if you're a male or a female, he just does it. And what he brought to the table for this character was so good, in my opinion, because you have this mixed, troubling character and you kind of have to root for him because he's the good guy, but he's this way. It kind of plays a pivotal role for the story as it moves forward in the storyline and how the antagonist is revealed. So I just loved his acting skills and his presence alone with the walk, the action sequences, and all of that was just perfect. To me, in terms of the cast, I think he was the only guy who stole the show. In terms of the storyline, I think that's where it takes a back seat because you're so focused on the character and not the story, as the first half is so intense because you're trying to figure out what is going on. You're introduced to Nani's character. You're trying to figure out what he's doing because the way how he's doing stuff is questionable and you don't know why he's doing it. But as you start to unveil everything, then it makes sense. And when you lead into the second half, where they showcase the antagonist, the villain, that's the drawback. Because the antagonist is played by Pratik Babbar. Nothing against the dude, but when you have such a menacing hero and such a powerful guy with this personality that's next level, and you're building this antagonist organization which has like a whole new world to it, you need to have an equally strong person. I'm not talking about physique only, but just the way how that person needs to represent has to match what Nani's character is. And that was not there at all. Because whether it's his dialogue delivery or what he was saying or just the way how he's portrayed during the reveal in the second half, it just didn't match the vibe to me. I just didn't feel as the tension build that the whole movie was building towards, it just lost me. The only other negative piece in my eyes was the climax component was I think 20 to 30 minutes. And when I say climax, I'm just talking about fight scene, action sequences, and only that for that whole sequence of 20 to 30 minutes. It's basically him trying to escape a certain location, save people, and get out of there. The action sequences is next level. Too bloody. Fair warning, you're going to see a couple of Marco vibes here because whether it's chopping people or using different weapons and all that stuff, you have that in this movie. And yes, it is next level, but because they keep stretching it and for that length, it's just non-stop only fights and nothing else is going on because it's kind of an escape mission, you feel bored. You feel tired of, okay, when is this going to stop, or can we just wrap this up and just be done with this? That's the feeling that I got when the climax started, because up until then you were buying it, you were going with the flow, and then there is a certain instances where you're on edge, and the director does a good job in keeping you that way. But as soon as the whole fight thing starts, it never stops. You're fatigued by then, right? And yes, we also have a love story played by my Mehbooba from KGF. Srinidhi Shetty is the love interest here. In the first half, again, she was good. I love the bond that they they share. But then in certain sequences in the second half where you're going to this dangerous mission and then you have this love sequence, it just puts down the seriousness of that mission. And it's like, okay, should we be serious now, or should we think about romance, love, and the mushy that happens? That was the confusing part, which I thought shouldn't have been there. Outside of that, like I said, Nani was the showstopper, was the show stealer. And in my eyes, if you're a super Nani fan and if you love this rugged, badass character, plus if you're a fan of the hit franchise and you're looking forward to this third installment, yeah, by all means, give this movie a shot. But fair warning, don't expect the story to be this next level stuff, and then you're going to be disappointed with the antagonist and the length of the climax. So for the folks who have watched Hit 3, which part did you guys like? Was this part better than the other two parts? And should I watch those parts? Let me know in the comments. And as always, guys, be sure to like, subscribe, and share.